to the Athletes in Motion podcast, From Race to Recovery, with your hosts, Tom Riegel and Kenny Bailey.
Hey, Kenny, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Tom. How are you?
I'm fantastic as well. This is a good episode we've got. It's 2024.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
We were so busy, so crazy at the end of last year that we didn't even get a wrap-up show in. So we're going to try to combine all of this together. Talk a little bit about what we covered last year. It was a great year. We talked to a lot of people, a lot of great conversations. And then we'll talk a little bit about what we've got coming up, what year season 4 looks like. I can't even believe that. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, we talk about endurance, but it felt like 2023 was a sprint, wasn't it? So it was crazy fast. So we're just now catching up to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was your highlights from last year? What was anything stand out to you? I mean, we had the triathletes journey. That was a new project we started last year. We talked to 3 athletes that were starting their journey into a triathlon, starting triathlon, the first 70.3 and the first Ironman distance. So we covered 3 great athletes. It was fun talking about them. What else? What else jumped out at you that you thought was kind of noteworthy?
Yeah, I think what's fun to talk about, and when you look at sort of our past shows, the ones that seem to resonate the most for me are the people that are kind of getting past sort of the idea that you could sit and quit if you want to, and they have every right and every reason to.
Yeah.
Talk about Matthias and his battle with alcohol addiction. He could have just stopped right there and rolled over, but instead he found triathlon as a way to continue to do it. And then, what's
Brandon? Brandon's another one that's just talk about.
I can't read my own writing, right? So it's
Brandon was fantastic, right? Wow.
Yeah. So the theme, I guess, is that these people, they're finding ways to not just survive but thrive, and they're looking at ways in which they're setting targets beyond what they think they're capable of doing, and the glory and the pain and the suffering of being able to get to that goal. That to me has always been the human story about what we talk about. The human story of, look, it's sometimes you need to give yourself a crazy, hairy goal and seem like that's impossible or near impossible to do, but that's what motivates people. That's what gets people up in the morning. That's what, and when you accomplish it, that is that much sweeter when you're done. So I just across the board talking to people like those, talking to our folks on the triathletes journey that's never done their distance before or never done a triathlon before, and just walking through that excitement and then the drudge of training and then the elation of getting across the line. I think that to me has been is why we keep doing this. It's just those stories are always fun. How about yourself?
Yeah. I think it ties into, I always say that triathlon is it mimics life the closest of any sport. I think it mimics life the closest. And we've talked about that. And we've seen that and listened to that and people we've talked about where, you have a perfect plan, you go into the race, everything's set to go, and it doesn't go the way it planned. It never does, right? And it's a huge, important part of life in general is how you adjust to that plan, how, instead of reacting, how you respond to it, how you keep your mental focus staying straightforward. Jeff Suppinger was fantastic on that, right? It's going along and the wheels start to come off the bus, trusted the team, was able to make the adjustments and get through and still hit all of his goals. It's that story that I think keeps resonating with everyone that comes along. Brandon as well. I mean, he had enough struggles to start, and then of course nothing went according to plan, and yet he still persevered and responded, and that inspires me completely. That's what keeps me in the sport, keeps me going, and working with athletes like that, even just talking with athletes like that is just, I just love that. That's the best part of this sport for me. So
and what's cool too is there's this the time, the finish, the medal is all individual, right? So when Suppinger got across the line, he's the one that got the belt buckle. He's the one that's recorded the time.
Yeah.
but it took several people for him to get across the line.
Yeah.
And the community of people, Sarah being able to do her first triathlon and be able to get into that community and find out how supportive, do a women's only triathlon and just seeing that support, seeing those people to be able to do it. Although you're getting the individual score or the time or the medal, it's definitely a community that supports individuals. I mean, it's rare that, in competitive sports, if somebody passes you, you're angry. You see somebody pass you and you're like, hey, way to go, way to keep going, good job, and I've always, praised people that, they're still trucking along and you're like, keeping that pace while you're going through your kind of, time, but they're just like, or people to pass you and tell you to keep going, right? You're like, you got this, that community spirit, even though it's an individual sort of sport, you're still got this community around it, which is fantastic. So,
yeah, there's a ton of support. I mean, what's the one pro cyclist? Is it Cam Worth that also does triathlons?
I think so. Yeah.
I can't remember if that was
Correct
him.
us if we're wrong.
Yeah, I think he's the one that had said this, that it was the surprising, like comparing being in the pro peloton to being on a, as a pro in a triathlon race, where it was just kind of like he was passing somebody and they were like, go get him. They were giving him words of encouragement. And he said, that's just the strangest thing, like just to get used to that, because they, you get the stare in the peloton and they want to kill you.
Yep.
And yet in triathlon, like when you see the fastest guys go past the slowest, they're each cheering each other on, and that community support is what makes it's just special. It really is.
Yeah. And for folks that are listening or folks that are watching us, please put in the comment section your 23 highlight. We'd love to hear from it.
Yeah, seriously,
love to hear from you on kind of what your 23 looked like, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Love to hear your stories about, hey, this is, I accomplished this. Let's share. Let's hear from you.
Share that so we can support, get all that going.
So speaking of which, Tom, what did you personally accomplish in 2023?
Personally accomplished, I managed to run a very long distance through the woods again. So it wasn't a fluke the first time. Which
good job.
Everyone asked me, why'd you go back and do it again? Well, yeah, I ran again. I proved it wasn't a fluke. Set some goals.
And it was
focus on my run. The No Business 100 trail run. So 101.5 miles through the woods. And
that 1.5 counts.
Eastern. Oh, it totally.
When it's that long, that extra 1.5 sucks.
Yeah, it was every inch of that. Every inch of that counts. So I was I was pretty excited with that. I did 100K. In the heat of the night race overnight in Alabama in the summer, which was super, super hot. And it was a good step up. The Dirty Souls Racing down in Alabama, she does, Becky with an I as the race director. She does an amazing job. And then the No Business folks are fantastic. I mean, they just put on great events. So I was thrilled, really focused on running. And then this year, I should say 2024, I'll be back to triathlon again. But that was my big thing. So cool. 2023 for you. This was a tough one.
This was a tough one. Yeah. And it was a weird thing and was completely unexpected. Last year, 2022, completed the half Ironman in Oregon and then the full Ironman in California. And that was a bucket list. Spending 20 years in Sacramento, being able to race it after it was delayed due to a bomb cyclone in 2021, being able to get across the finish line in 2022, although I was injured. So I had a bad calf, for both races,
but you got it done.
I just sort of got them done. And so for 2023, the idea was to lean into this thing and try to do better. And I was pain-free for the first time in probably 3 years. So swims were going really well. Swims were fantastic. You were my coach. You saw us. We were out there in the lake.
You were crushing it. You were putting the work in. It was good. My
bike was faster than it's ever been. And I used to ride a lot. So to be able to get back to that level of speed average was fantastic. Couldn't wait to get back to Oregon. It was a fun course. It was a course that I thought I could really do well in, fast river swim, flat to rolling bike, and then a fairly flat run. And I was feeling healthy through the whole thing. So I had a plan going in. It wasn't to try to crush it, even though I think in the back of my head I built that up to crush it, got in the water, and for some unknown reason I just wasn't prepared. That weekend was off the whole weekend. We stayed in a different location. I don't feel like I was ever in the race. I don't know if that ever makes sense, but we just kind of would walk up, get our thing, and walk out rather than being a part of the race event. Didn't walk to the beginning of the water. They changed it. I wasn't paying attention. I did it last year. I know everything. And as I about ready to get in, they said, by the way, you're swimming on the opposite side of the buoys. And for some reason, I was in a hurry. I was already rushed. I was already sweaty and hot. You have to walk a mile to the start line. And I had a panic attack. And last year I thought I slayed that demon in 2022. And I thought everything was great. The swims were fantastic. They were strong swims. And
very strong.
I just couldn't let go of that demon. And it pulled me down figuratively. Would swim 3 strokes, would swim 3 strokes, sit up and hyperventilate, try to calm myself down. I yelled at myself out loud, like, knock it off and let's go. And I couldn't get it out. So it was heartbreaking to travel that far, to know that you've done a race already, that you've already accomplished, to be in that good of physical shape, and then just to have to get out. And I have to tell you, I was in a dark space. I was like, that's it. I'm not going back. I had friends of mine that were racing. I said, I'm just going to stay in the apartment because we got a condo like right downtown. I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to order, disgusting food, drink beer in the afternoon, and just say the hell with it. And I forced myself to just get back in because I had friends that were racing that to get to the finish line. So when they got across the line, we could celebrate for them. And I'm glad I did it. Right.
Yeah.
It was awkward. I have to tell you, it was really awkward. They're talking about the race and the things that went well and didn't went well. And that was really tough for me to sit there and listen to that and say, I don't have a story. I don't have that. My story is,
it's not as positive as ours.
Yeah. And so I think I needed a break from triathlon for a little bit. So I just started working out more, starting just lifting heavy things. I think this year, it's ironic because I'm like, all right, I got to get back in the water. We got to start swimming, got to do that. Now we're in 6 inches of snow right now in Tennessee. But so I guess I'll wait a couple weeks on that. But for this year, my goal is for 2024 is to be fast, not far. So I've decided to do a bunch of sprints and just lean into speed, lean into what I can do to just, I don't know, just do the shorter distances. Not that I don't want or can't to do it. The time commitment to do a long race, the time commitment, even to do a half, you've got to be, you have to have your why there. You have to be able to, 10 to 20 hours a week, especially on the longer ones towards the end, if you're doing a full Ironman. And I'm just not mentally there yet. So I think for me, doing a bunch of sprints, getting really confident, leaning into those, go until I vomit kind of deal. Right. So, just leave it all out on the course rather than always trying to check my watch or check, okay, where am I at? Yeah. Mile 11, do I have enough fluids? This one is just go like a bat out of hell and see where I land kind of
stuff. Punch it out and go.
Yeah, I think that's, I'm a fast twitch guy, always trying to be a slow twitch guy. So I'm going to go back to being a fast twitch guy and just give it a try. So, so for 24, you've already committed to a triathlon. Yeah.
I have. Yeah. I've committed to the Ironman in Lake Placid. So that was my very first Ironman that I ever did. And that was back in 2010. So 14 years later, for some reason,
you were 12 doing that, weren't you?
I was 12. Yeah. I wish.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and see if I can improve my time. And just see what I got. I haven't done the full Ironman distance in a couple of years now. So, it's been a little bit. And then I'll stick in a bunch of sprint, probably sprint distance, sprint and Olympic. I say sprint and Olympic, but I'll probably stick to the sprint distance because I enjoy that. And I think that's one thing we could have done. Well, we couldn't fit it in the schedule for you last year, was getting in some races, some sprint, I'll call them some C races ahead of time, right? Just to get that feel. And I always recommend that to people is like, have those C races kind of back there. That allows you to just test things out, get used to the race day experience and kind of, get into transition and figure that stuff out. So I've got that. We've got, so I do a lot of triathlon this year, which I'm very excited about getting back into that. And then I've got a couple of training camps coming up. Swim triathlon specific swim training camps. The first one being in June. I just announced that registration's just open June 9th through the 12th in North Carolina. We're going to swim in, I think it's Lake James. That's out just outside of Asheville. We'll have another one that put together in August. And then we might put some out on the West Coast as well. We're messing around with that idea as well. But we'll have some indoor. It'll be pool and swim and open water swim specific for 4 days. It's a fun
Nice.
camp. It's going to be really good. So I'm really excited about that this year. I've been working a lot on that, which will be good. So that'll be
it sounds exciting. And I think the majority of the people that enter triathlon generally, swim is rare. Do you get a swim first person that comes into a triathlon, and when you do, you hate them because
the 1%, the 1%, and then we work on their bike.
So,
but
so that sounds exciting. So
yeah, I'm super excited about it. I've been trying to do this for a while, so this will be good. And
I think for the show for 2024, so folks know that we're going to be we are season 2 of Triathlete's Journey.
Yep.
We're actively looking right now between now and probably early February, looking for 3 to 4 people that have this is either their first time doing triathlon or first time doing a longer distance.
Yeah,
we're looking for everyday folks to give it. We had Elizabeth on last year. She was fantastic.
Yeah,
Elizabeth got pulled from mile 99 on Ironman California in 2022. Last year she did fantastic. And it was harrowing for her. It was, in the middle of the training session, we talked about, a torn meniscus and whether or not she can even do this, and figured out, well, at least she can walk it. And so she did that and was able to get across the line, made it past mile 99, got onto the run, made it across the line. So, if you're someone that likes to be on, would love to tell their journey, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. We need, honesty is always the best, right?
Yeah. We need to hear the whole story.
Talking about the stuff where I fail on, but guess what? Other people deal with the same problem I do. So being able to do that,
that's the way we learn.
So that's what's coming up. So
yeah, that's it'll be good. So if you know anybody else, anyone that that might be good on the show, send us a note as well. Once again, they've got to be able to give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's great if they get on and everything goes perfect and the training is perfect and all that stuff, but this isn't Instagram. So reality, we want a little more reality where, you had your hard days where, something came up, work did something, you couldn't make the workouts. How did you adjust for it? It's how did you respond to what's being thrown at you? I think that's huge. So, and then we're putting together a list of guests and people we want on the show as well that will, deal with, we'll get a little education in again. We'll try to get some folks, some coaches.
A lot of people smarter than us.
A lot of smart people.
There's a lot there.
We set the bar low. So
exactly.
It should be easy, right? It should be easy. If there's a particular topic or even a guest that we've had on before that you'd like to hear from again, let us know. Once again, we need your comments. We're doing this for you as much as we're doing it for us. So if there's things that you want to see or hear, please let us know. Give us the comments.
Absolutely. Not everybody that you recommend may get on. It just depends on sort of the tone and kind of what they're doing, but absolutely share with. What do you guys want to see? What more or less of? One of the things that Tom and I were kicking around is we were thinking one of the episodes is to talk about hacks. Like what are those things? You always know about the big things on training and on racing during race day when it comes to swim, bike, and run. But what are those little things like, I carry a piece of gum is what I do when, in order to keep palate fatigue down. Just those little things that you don't think about, those small things that may in the newness of it all, but what are those things? So those are some things we're thinking about doing. If that's something you want to do, we had an episode where we talked about, which I got great feedback, by the way, on, hey, if you're on a little bit of a budget, what should you prioritize your spending on versus if you're going for Kona for a championship and you're going to elevate to the next level, what's that range? Everything from I got $100 to, I got $1,000, or more. Like what can you do? Those are the type of, if that's something you guys want, we can do more of those.
Yeah, we can certainly. There's lots of things to spend and not spend your money on and new stuff coming up. And if you want to hear about new products or things along those lines, we can delve into that, because I'm constantly trying to stay up abreast on all of the new technology and things that are coming out. So we can certainly talk about that too, if that's of interest. So
let us know.
I'm excited. Yeah. Year 4. I can't believe this. We've covered, I think it was 13 different countries, and I don't know how many thousands of episodes we've had downloaded. Yeah. So we want to thank
the
you
support,
all.
Everybody.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate all the support. Thank you. Keep the comments coming. The 5 stars, the thumbs up, all that stuff helps the algorithms going through. And reach out to us. Let us know. We're excited. We've got Facebook. I haven't done a whole lot with that, but there is a Facebook page now, along with our Instagram. So that's probably the best way to get a hold of us and get the conversation started. But yeah, any way you can muster up would be great. So thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you.
See you this year.
All right.